complained to you before about having a pineapple kind of haircut, and as a result I chopped it off. Well, clearly this is way longer than my sides, but my back and sides have now become very long. This is day 18. I've got a few of the days wrong in some of the videos I've released because the 1st of September was the date that I put this on, and it's now 5:30 a.m. or 5:45 a.m. on the 18th of September 2019. Yes, way back in those days. Hi Mum, my mum's ghost if you've died, or my ghost if I've died. Hi me, in the future, up there, not down there, right? Up and down, the earth rotates, center of the earth. Anyway, I get the feeling that this is kind of a bit gunky. Also, I don't trust what's happening back here. But more to the point, this doesn't really fit. My hair's too long. Here, my hairpiece is too long. It was sort of a transitional thing, really. But I like it being long. There's also this sort of stickiness happening around the corners and stuff. That's not right. That's not right at all. There's glue all in there. That should be stuck down all the way to the edge there. There are a few little problems going on. I must have just lifted that because I've just been fiddling with it. And also the other thing is when it's long like this, I find myself pulling hairs out too often. Look at that. I keep doing this. I'm not sure if they're loosening themselves or if I'm just playing with it too much. So I haven't had a shower for a couple of days. I've just been working on backing tracks on my computer. So I think the real truth is I just need to have a shower and then see what happens. But the thing is, when your hair's wet, you don't know what's going on, right? Even so, I still think it'd be better for me with a sort of brush forward look. And look at all this, see, because I've been picking it away at the edges. That's come unstuck there and stuff. I mean, a couple of days ago I sort of fixed up this front hairline, but the front hairline isn't everything. You gotta worry about the rest of it. So it's day 18. I say hairpieces, you know, poly hairpieces should stay on for about 3 weeks before you need to swap it out completely. So I don't feel it's dirty enough that I want to just take it off, but not having a shower makes me feel a little bit more like that. In 3 days, I'm kind of due, you know, for the 3-week rule to pull this off and clean all the glue off the back of it. After it dries though, it'll be much easier. In some of the recent videos I've been trying to take it off wet, mixed with sweat and so on. So that's no good. When I take it off completely, I'll remove all the glue and I'll try to refix it down. Just remember though, this is the first ever large piece I've had since I shaved my zone back to here instead of there, right? So it's increased in size. So this hairpiece was the wrong shape for the shave zone because I made it symmetrical, exactly, but really the front is more curved this way and then at the back it's more triangular. So it would go like that, then like that. For some reason that's reminding me of the Assassin's Creed logo. I think it's an eyeball with so it's similar to that shape. So I'm gonna have a shower, then we'll see what I can do with my hair without removing it. I might still remove it in 3 days from now. As it stands, the front hairline is okay. There's a bit here, right, that sort of needs to be stuck back down. And I might give myself a haircut, just so that it blends in better. Which I'm really grateful that the hair's started to grow back more, but I get that feeling again, that it's getting boofy. But when I look side on like that, it doesn't seem too long there. But as I've just noticed from watching 2 interviews, I was doing a few Beatles backing tracks, and I was flicking through YouTube and I saw George Harrison interviews, and I watched him one when he was about 26 in 1971. I'm guessing that was his age. If he was 18 at the height of Beatlemania in 1963, he'd have been about 18, right? So that means he was born in, say, 1940. So he's 10 in 1950, so that's bad calculations, right? He would have been born about 1945, so he was 10 in 1955, yeah, and 18 in 1963. So it was 1971, so that would have made him 65, would have got him to 20, yeah, it's 26. So it'd have been about 26 in that interview, 1971. The second interview, and he saw his really long hair, really long beard. And he just didn't want to talk. It was like somebody Dalton. Just didn't want to talk, yeah. It's like, there's nothing much to say really, that sort of thing. But then they started asking him about LSD, and the dentist put it in the coffee cup. We didn't know about it, and John and I were drinking the coffee, and we got really high. You know, and then they talked about drugs and heroin and different artists who died and stuff. And then said, oh yeah, and by the way, John and Yoko have just released their Christmas album. They forgot to mention that in the previous video. It's like, oh, because they did the interview here before they'd made the album. So whatever. And then the next one I saw was him with big hair, with like, you know, what's that called? A mullet. Long hair down the back, 80s style, the shoulder pads and shit, white with a thin, fucking almost like a keyboard fucking necktie. And yeah, so in 1980, I think it was 1980 or 1981, that John Lennon was shot in New York City. So yeah, there was some questions about that, and then they brought on Ringo Starr, who was wearing glasses the whole interview, with the earrings and beard and shit, and just started his job on Thomas the Tank Engine. It was just interesting. So what I'm saying is, my hairstyles are not going to be relevant in the future. So it's a good thing. I mean, in the future, people might go, why didn't you just keep that bit shaved out and grow the rest long? That's the fashion. But I don't think there are many periods in the future history of the planet when that will be a good fashion. Even monks did the back part. They didn't do all this, did they? Sometimes they might have. I guess if they were balding monks, they would have gone, yeah, I'm an advanced monk. Yeah, it's only the amateur monks who do that bit only. Bullshit, they were balding. At any rate, I don't think that's going to be a very plausible fashion statement in the future. Or really many times in the past, to be honest. Bald men are really not the main attractors, are they? But then again, neither are pineapples. So I'm going to do something about this. I think the heat of the shower melts the glue sitting under the front, and it's somehow seeped out by the hairbrush or something, I don't know. But yeah, it's something to do with the heat, but that was already kind of like that. The wet hair really separates everything and makes everything more obvious than it usually is. I can't see back that far anymore. It's too far back for me to actually see. 18 days in, my stubble on my shave zone will have grown back quite a lot, and the glue would have begun to deteriorate significantly. See, this is a lot to do with the fact that I didn't really know how big it was supposed to be cut at the back to fit the shave zone. See, the stencil is going to be the same, but in your first try, you're not going to be able to shave the stencil area out. Besides, the stencil isn't the thing with priority. The way your remaining hairs are growing on your head is a priority. You don't want to shave into areas that don't need to be shaved. That's just a waste of money, time, and effort. Okay, so I'm just going to remove every single hair from this hairbrush so it's clean, so we know how many hairs I lose from this brushing experience. Because I'm probably going to give myself another haircut after I put some clothes on. But yeah, I will remove the hairs from this brush. Fucking hard to do this. Damn. See the yellowing of the glue? That's the bacterial piss mixed in with the glue. So that's why, for hygiene purposes, you have to take your hairpiece off every so often. So it's the 18th day now. I said 3 weeks. And by golly, I meant it. I'm not going to take it off right now. What I might do though, this bit along here needs a bit of glue there anyway. But as you can see, I'm completely covered in sweat and water at the moment. I wasn't able to fully clean the brush, but that's as clean as I could get it. There are still little hairs in the middle there. It's hard to get them out. I tried using this to scrape out the hairs from this, but there's a nub on the end of every bristle, see? So the comb can't get past it. But usually a brush on a brush is the best way to clean a brush. Yeah, so I'll just, instead of peeling that glue off, which is going to be a pain in the ass, I'll just glue over the top of that old glue. Just see how they go, yeah. And then I might, when it's all dry and everything, give myself a bit of a haircut to make it blend in a bit. Though I do like the idea of getting long hair. But then I'm 42, I'm not a fucking rock star. Just because I'm watching the Beatles, I think I'm a fucking Beatle. Seems pretty dry now. You're probably thinking, well, you've half taken it off. Why don't you just take the whole thing off and just shave that and put it back down fully instead of waiting an extra 3 days. You're just going to be gluing over old glue and probably facing similar problems because you've got, well, an old disgusting layer of glue and then another layer of glue on top of it. Plus you're going to be gluing down over those regrowth hairs. But what difference does it make really? Well, I guess it's just a bit of a waste of glue. And also a waste of an opportunity to just clean, shave and just put it back on, peel the glue off. The thing is, taking the glue off is a bit of a pain in the ass. I mean, I'd have to sort of wait for it to dry. It's not that much of a pain in the ass when it dries. But then I'd probably find little things like this to just keep fixing around the place. Like a bit of excess. See. And also, given that this is a sort of a trial hair shape for me, the first one I've ever done to fit in this spot and cut to the shape of my new shave zone, there'll be more work involved for me in this particular changeover, probably. Although I'm going to be putting the same one back on. But you can see at the back how it doesn't exactly fit the shave zone. So what I'm going to do is just put glue over the edge there and just put it back down after it dries. then probably cut my hair. You can see all these scraggly bits as well, which just want to be pulled out, see? They just want to be tugged out. So I'm constantly doing that. Not good. I keep doing that. It's like 5 or 6 hairs just then, and then one. You gotta be careful. I'm better off cutting that out. Well, I've still got, well, it hasn't spread, you know what I mean? Although the scissors could spread it. Really be careful not to get hair, glue in your hair. It's hard. Oops, I forgot to film. I just tried to place it down, but then I realized I hadn't filmed it. That's not why I'm doing it again, by the way. I'm doing it again because I fucked up. I could still see there was a gap back here. I hadn't pulled it over far enough. But you can see what happens if you push down old glue like this. It's all messy and double layered. Even though it's all dry now, the old glue is still kind of wet and gross. And that's been about 45 minutes of drying time. There's nothing about drying time that I would change. Or the heat of the room, it's all nice. So I've got less glue on these edges now and everything. But I'm gonna continue with it because I don't want to do it again. So I just gotta remember this bit up here. It's not pulled over far enough. There's much better visibility doing this when your hair is wet as well, so I probably should have wet my hair. It does feel more secure now. It looks like a vast difference in color between my natural hair and that hair, doesn't it? This is the color my hair goes in summertime. This hair will probably become this color when it's summer, which is why when side by side it's really not that distinguishable. Up here it seems more distinguishable. Also back here, where I've just reaffixed all the glue and everything, changed it over, it feels like I've removed any overhang that was there. So next time I place it on, it might be possible that I could just use the cut that I've got without recutting it more, even though it will be jagged because I cut it while it was on my head without having any proper visibility, or no visibility at all. Really, I just got bits and just chopped them. And on this side as well, I'm gonna have to deal with this and stop picking. It kind of makes me feel like I don't really want to change the hairpiece in 3 days. I'll probably just do that side instead. But you know, as you can see, the glue was sort of rotting and everything with the oh fuck. Yeah, since I had the shower, it's just become kind of gross at the front as well. I see these little bumps along the front here. It's almost like a discoloration as well as a shadow, because you can squeeze it in and it's still kind of a little bit visible. But look over here, it's not visible at all. There's no dividing line at all. So there could be, in spots like that bit there could be a minuscule bit of curling where it's sort of folded over itself and then been stuck down. Nothing I'm going to do about it. But one thing I can prevent is constantly pulling out hairs that are emergent. You know, in a forest, the trees that stick out above the canopy are called emergents. That's what these hairs are. And I tend to tug on them. I tend to tug on myself quite a lot, actually. I tend to back away from the mirror when I'm doing all that because I want to see my ugly face revealed from behind the hair. It's too sudden for my brain to suddenly see that face shining back at me. At least the hair gives me some sort of disguise from myself. Why are there no towels in this room? I'm gonna go get some. Yeah, I don't really praise the towel often enough, really. But yeah, one of the tools you'll need is a towel. Barely gets a mention. Sorry, towel. I love you. I really do. I don't know what I would do without you. Probably stand in front of a fucking fan. But the towel does come in handy. In fact, it's the most important thing in the universe, pretty much, according to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Let me just brush this forward. Don't panic. I got this. So I'm going to cut my hair to meet the length of my hairs back here. So currently, my natural hair back here has grown to a whopping, almost as long as my dick, 6 centimeters. That's 2 point something inches. That's good. More than 2 inches. Brilliant. So from back here, where my hairpiece begins, I will brush sideways without trying to rip it off. That edge, those edges are a bit of overhang and a bit of gap edge happening over there. Then, I can't tell what's my own hair and what's not anymore because I'm not used to having hair this far back. All right, there, that's, yeah, I'll just dodge that bit. Okay, because I can't really tell and I don't want to cut it too short. Seems about right. Okay, then go level 2, layer 2. You can see some gappage over there already. I think that's gappage actually mixed with some overhang, so double bad. Hopefully this side is much better. Yeah, I don't think that needs cutting either. It seems fine. Layer 3. Is 1/2 of this a scissor? I think this is layer 6. So I'll let this dry. I know there are some variations on that side. It seems shorter than that side. And I'll see how it looks after a few hours and decide whether I want to keep it this way, go shorter, or go longer. One option we guys have that others don't, right? But it costs $50, which is probably the same price as a woman's haircut. So, but if you have to do the whole thing, it's probably $100. So, and you probably would come up with a decision that would be final after a while. I mean, it's going to be 2 months, right? That this hairpiece will probably survive. Though, given all those hairs I pulled out when it was long, I'm starting to think when it's too long, you know, there's a huge tendency for the hairs to just be pulled out, the emergence. Okay. Not good the way I'm pulling these things out like this. So there's a definite colour change between there and there, isn't there? And if I started using, say for example, Just for Men shampoo that dyes my hair while I'm in the shower, wouldn't that dye this as well? Didn't think of that. And then, you know, if I put spray tan all over me, isn't that going to dye in there as well? Probably would. It didn't seem to in the past though, but you don't want an abrupt stopping of the tan or a change in colour. That's what I'm frightened about with this at the moment. But one thing I did learn from previous experiments is that I probably should not use shiny hairspray unless I'm really careful not to get any in there on the actual base material. You know what I mean? Because different color variation is one thing, and different texture, shininess and matte finish, unless I want to make my forehead shiny as well, which is not a good look. So this is sort of more of a brush forward look. The front hairs are down to my eyes really, but they sort of taper off and got a bit shorter at the sides there. So the length of the front hairs is currently 11 centimeters. It's 4 inches to there, so it's just over 4 inches. I think 4 inches is a good front hair length. Gives you some sort of fringe. Seriously, do people really call it bangs? I don't see how a fringe is really plural. Bangs. So is each individual hair a bang? Every hair roll on the front hairline is a bang? Is that your mentality? I don't like this beard. Okay. The Beardscape beard trimmer has this thing as well as the guards that clip on, which adjust this from I think 1 millimeter to 3 millimeters. Oh no, it goes from 1.9 millimeters to 1.3 millimeters. 1.9 millimeters, 1.3 millimeters. Might give myself a goatee for a change. I'll show you how to give yourself a good goatee, okay? My favorite kind of goatee. It's called the Johnny Depp. You can imagine how that's gonna look, right? It's not just a big splodge of hair. It's a separation of mustache, tuft, whatever that thing's called, what's the sexist term for that thing there? There's something. It's got a funny name, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm getting under there, uniformly making that all symmetrical looking. Going right up the sides. The lip is the guide. Right. This is the only goatee that I think is going to look good, right? Now we want to give you a 1920s kind of stash there. Keep the bit in the center there and go diagonally down towards the lips. So there's a little narrow Hitler down to the diagonal slides to the edge of the lips. Then take all this shit away, right? All that. They're the bit that ruined the goatee. Leave that. So it's the mustache, that thing there, and then a fairly smiley face little beard down there like that. That's how you do a goatee. All the goatees are shit. I still haven't figured out whether I want faded sideburns, but I'm kind of liking this thing going back in down to the bottom of the ear that I accidentally just did to myself. But it's not symmetrical this side, but I'll wait for that to grow back in. And you also don't want to have these nasolabial folds. Get rid of that. Plastic surgery? No. Can't do much about it. Without plastic surgery. Or weight loss maybe. But you don't want to be gaunt either. You need some cheek filler. I don't know. There's not much you can do. Exercise your face. Chew gum maybe. But just basically lose your body fat and get less of this. Because that's what fat people get, like this. Exhibit A, right? So now that I've got this overhang happening, this fringe, I can hide this away from the world a bit because I don't like the way that's discolored. Can you see that discoloration? And last time we used I get a feeling that the thickness of the 0.03 millimeters of poly here has actually been increased by the glue itself. And potentially the discoloration could come from the glue that's underneath it. Because when you first put on a poly hairpiece, it doesn't seem to be so pearl colored. I mean, I don't think that I can really do anything with Shine Killer for this problem. It's just the lighting. There's nothing I can really do to fix it. Okay, so you can see I put a dollop there, right? Rub that in. I can actually feel a lump there, which is not the usual manner for poly. Like over here I can barely feel a lump, but over here I can feel more of a lump. I think there's just maybe a thick layer of, no, there are two thick layers of glue under there probably. So now, this is really my favorite. I love this stuff. I'm gonna put this in. While I'm doing this, you can have a good look at the discoloration problem. I really don't know how to solve that. I mean, there are certain things you don't notice, and then another day with different lighting, you will notice. I really don't want to ever run out of muck. I need to get some money. How's the bald spot going? So there you have it, that's poly day 18 and how to cut a goatee. It's a pity my sideburns don't actually match. The sides of my face don't actually match though. Because when they did the nose operation, it sort of still remained bent and I got less of a thing there or whatever. Or less of a nostril flare or something. So this is, I think, my, I hate to say it, but Ringo Starr kind of side of my face. And this over here is more of a Julian Lennon kind of side of, I guess, I don't know, fat Julian Lennon. Probably meant John Lennon. But I think Julian Lennon became fat at one point, didn't he? Alright, fuck off then. It's now broad daylight. I just looked back at some of the footage I've just been editing. My hair's completely dry now. And I saw how fucking balding I am back there. It's accentuated so much by, well, not being able to see up here. You can now see up here, right? How bad is that? I really don't want to have to wear a full topper. You know what I'm trying to avoid that, right? And this bit back here, how bad is this? How bad is it? How bad is it? I'm re-recording that song. I'm going to remaster it and make it a bit of a techno. What do you think? Less emotional maybe next time. But this is fucking disgusting about you stupid bald head! No, it's because of the intelligence of this merciless brain. It's pushing hairs out just to get off me. I need more fucking cooling system. Anyway, that's what the hair looks like. Yeah, I would expect that I could go out in public like this and not worry about people looking at the top of my head while I'm sitting in a chair. Maybe that might happen. Or I'll be leaning over to pick something up off the floor, or get something off the bottom shelf, or be downstairs when somebody else is upstairs, or be on camera where you're turning around and saying, oh, what's that over there? Or being in real life and saying, oh, what's that over there? And then people get to see the back of my shiny fucking dome. Give it to me straight back. How bad is this situation? A bit worried about it. How's the hairline? The hairline seems to have recovered in this lighting. And also I've got a fringe. I think it's a freckle. I still tell you, this is still the way you've got to do the goatee. You know, if you're going to do a goatee, it's got to be the little thing like that thing like that, and that. Okay, do it that way. Sideburns should match. It's ridiculous to not have them match. Be very careful doing that too. I almost, you know, removing your sideburns can sometimes be as devastating as losing an eyebrow. You know, you can imagine what that's like. If you haven't done it before, I suggest you try it. That's really bald, okay? So I'm going fairly fucking grey on the sides, and it'll be very, very visible to everybody soon. This has always been orange. So going grey can't be worse than orange maybe, but grey and orange? Nah. I'm gonna have to dye it. What else was I gonna point out? There's baldness all around fucking there. Got this here. That. Do I need to shave my ear nubs? No, they're fine, I think, for now. Nostril hairs. Still waiting for that stuff to arrive. Eyebrow hairs. Did it recently, that's alright. Okay. Just the grey, the hairline, and this predominant fucking bullshit here. As you can see with hair product, and you can't tell the difference in colour anymore between this and this, right? I just really hope that now that the hair's dried, that's not as visible. I hope. How's this? Holy fucking shit. I don't wanna be bound. I don't wanna be half an ass. I don't want you all to see when I think